Welcome back to the Randomness of Nothing podcast. We've had an incredible journey along the way, and this is going to continue with compelling stories, guests, inspiration. And it doesn't always have to be the best idea. You just have to start, because then the good idea grows as your passion meets a good idea. And this is Prince Singh, who's ready to tell you from his sauce of success that the worst thing you can do is not start, and then you have help along the way. CEO of TruCreatives. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much for having me, Rashid. I'm super excited to be here. And hey, man, hopefully inspire maybe a few of your listeners to take some action and start building their passion into a profitable hustle, man.
Yeah, the biggest thing that I figured out was that the key is to start, right? So you merge, and we talked about this before the camera started rolling. There are more tools available to people than there ever have been. And it's democratized a lot of processes where the excuses get removed. That's where you come in, and you come from a personal story.
I think the biggest thing that I've seen with like people starting is it's that financial aspect of it. They're too worried about the investment. They're too uncertain about, oh my God, like the first thing is like, I got to start an LLC. Like, a lot of people get stuck up on like, oh, I got to start a business. No, you do not need to start an LLC. You have to validate what you want to start and start serving people for free. I think Alex Ramosi, one of the people that, is one of the biggest entrepreneurs in the game in terms of inspiring the youth, he says that same thing. The first thing you want to be able to do is, if you're not willing to do your passion for free, then you might have to choose something that you can align with. Because when you're starting to build a business, it takes time. It's not, hey, I start today and tomorrow I'm rich. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And
right.
Funny enough, we'll get into that story as well in the short time we have. Is I did have a brand just like that. In 3 days I was making money, and I was so shocked. I was so young.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to call that out. And this is one of my merch pieces here, right? Speed creates momentum. Mm-hmm. And so one of the craziest things, this is one of the biggest lessons I've learned throughout my 10 years of being an entrepreneur is, yes, when you start, you got to walk, then you got to jog, then you sprint. And guess what? Even when you're sprinting, right? Mm-hmm. What happens when you stop? You have momentum. He's pushing you forward. He's pushing you forward.
Right. You know what the interesting part about when you first actually create something is those lonely people only see the finished product, right? They only it's like the guy or the woman with the washboard abs, right? And they're like, man, I wish I had that. Like, yeah, you weren't there when they were dieting correctly, shopping correctly, balancing out all of the things, working out in the gym when you didn't see them, they were putting in that necessary work. Right. They only see the finished product, the shiny body, so to speak. And so when people come to you with an idea, what's your validation process, and in the depths of TruCreatives? Like, how did you get to create this?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the first validation processes is looking back at your life, right? Because most people are going to come at me when they're, adults, a little bit older. And so it's like, you guys have already done what your passion is, but you really you didn't create a product around it. You didn't create a lead magnet around it, right? Right. So what I typically try to do is first, obviously it's a lot about internal reflection. You have to understand yourself, and you have to understand what are those skills you've gotten in the last 25 plus years of your life, right? Because, most people shun them away. Like I'm telling you, people in sports, you can be a great coach. You don't have to be at the highest level, but you can impact someone that is, 14 years old, 10 years old, that really wants to be good at sports, right? There's a lot of coaches. There's a lot of artists, right? Artists that are doing music, they keep on releasing music, but they're not monetizing anything. They're not trying to create a fan base, right? 1,000 paying fans is going to sustain you. 1,000 paying fans, even if they're paying $5 a month, but you don't pitch it that way. You're so caught up in the regular norm of, oh, this is how an artist has to work. I have to go to a record label. I have to sign a deal with a record label. And so a lot of the first things I do is hey, I ask them, what's things you've done in your past? Then I work with them to figure out if there's anything there that we can kind of branch off of and then create a product off of or a lead magnet off of and start building a community, because it comes back to serving people. I think when it comes to, why am I successful? Why you're successful is because you're serving people.
Right.
And if you're able to serve people at a high level, then money will follow. It doesn't matter if it's art, music, business, technology, A to Z. Right. There's money. People are making money teaching people how to play chess. People are making money teaching people how to do pickleball. And it's like you start seeing some of these school communities. I don't know if you're aware of school, But
Correct.
you start,
yes.
you know what I mean? It's like $56,000 in a month for what? Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, guess what? There's people out there that want to learn it. They're willing to pay $5, $10, $15, $20 an hour. And look, and they can create something from it.
Absolutely. And I think that when it becomes something that you're passionate about, like I do martial arts, right? I would not pay to learn martial arts, right?
Yeah.
So the idea that, okay, this matches up with what I love to do. And then your coach or your trainer who's passionate and accomplished in martial arts, that's part of the relationship. Their time is equal to the money you're spending on it. And so it's not, and it's a very simple process involved. I need to learn something and I know I need access to do it. There's my free course to find out if there's a mutual interest involved, if I'm a good fit. And then if I decide to proceed further, then I can go ahead and charge you. You can pay your subscription or your fee or whatever else they want to call it. That's really how simplistic it really actually is. The complication comes with people when they're actually on the other side to it. Like I'm a host of a podcast. So then you become, okay, I just want to be a good guest and a host. And then when you want to transition that to a business, you get kind of scared because you're like, oh no, maybe my services are worth X, Y, and Z. I don't want to be a bad person, so to speak, by saying that there's a certain service fee involved with me.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think it's something you have to work your way, like you work your way up to it, right? Like, and I think that works because you build confidence. And I'm the same way. You know, some of the first brands I started working with, my first website, I got paid $100. Right. Fun story. In college, I'm starting my first digital marketing brand. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, I just learned this skill in college. Like, let me see what I can do with it. I got an email and the guy's offering $100 for a full website.
Right.
Kind of crazy, right? You're like, what the hell? I'm like, all right, I'll do it. Yeah. But guess what happened after that? Yeah. Guess what happened after that $100?
And more.
He came back and was like, hey, I need a blog done on my WordPress website, right?
Right.
And I basically created a blog in 10 minutes. And he was like, yo, how much is this going to be? I said $300. He's like, all right. So in 10 minutes, I made $300.
Yeah.
But I got paid $100 to make the whole website. Right? It was because it was a school thing and, whatever. He, in his eyes, saw the value of $300 and a blog post. Right? And that's when it clicked to me. I was like, wait a second. It's all because of your level of confidence, how you approach things, how you value things. And that will only increase when you start increasing the value that you have in yourself. Right. A lot of people here, like when I go to charge people $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, if I did that in the beginning, I'd be like, yo, I would be too scared to. Mm-hmm. But guess what happens? I get results. Right. I can look back at my results. Whoa, I 3x this business. This business was doing 0. Now it's doing $120K a month consistently.
That's my point.
What is that worth?
The ends justify the means.
Exactly. And so even with something like this, man, like, and I'm on the same wave of starting my own podcast and building something like you have here. Is like we have the tools now. We have the AI tools to do the research, to even help us find sponsors and get those conversations going. Because it's all about, what are the numbers? How many people are tuning in? Do you have the right audience for me to put the product right in front of? Right. And then from there, it's like, a 10-second snippet of you talking about a product. And, and so it's like we are in a world where, yes, if we can give opportunity to get in front of the right audience, it makes a huge difference. And just like one point before we give it back to you is like, I have an e-commerce brand, right? I have an e-commerce brand, Denali Canning. Mm-hmm. We sell mason jar lids, rings, and pressure canners. And so we had this one influencer mention us for like 3 seconds. Okay. We typically do maybe like 1,500 a day in sales at that time period, right?
Unbelievable.
That day we did 10,000. I'm like, what just happened?
Yeah.
What just happened, right?
Yeah.
You go back and we look at the snippet. I'm like,
it was right.
It was so quick.
It's crazy because it's almost like I'm 43, right? And so I'm in that little hybrid of when Google was first in its infancy to what it became now. I saw social media grow when I was in college, But this new generation that has all that they know, this is all they know. They know the algorithms. They don't know anything but social media and cell phones and tablets. And so their attention span is very short, but the people they listen to are very large and they can cling on those words very quickly. So in that 3-second snippet that you were mentioned, that person had credibility. They knew right away that they wanted to be a part of it. And they knew that the sale was valid based on the person that was said. So, it's just amazing how quick those things transpire.
Yeah, trust is an amazing thing, and you know, those are some people like we're very fortunate. And guess how we build that relationship? We didn't pay him any money for that.
Right.
I reached out to them. I was like, yo, I absolutely love what you guys do in the space. I want to hook you guys up with our products.
Right.
I never asked them for no sponsorship. I never asked them.
Right.
But like, you know what I mean? At that point, after I did try to ask them, and I was like, whoa, that's a lot of money. But like, you know what I mean? But the beauty is genuinely make connections with people, because you're going to be shocked how willing people are just going to be willing to help you and what can come from it. You know what I mean? And so it just goes back to that same thing, what TruCreatives is all about.
Yeah.
All right. One is being true to yourself and being truly creative. Right. And two is to serve. It's to serve through your passion. Right. That's how your passion becomes profit. All right. It's not about the money, but money flows when you continue to serve and you help people solve problems. Right. You make money from it. That's the reality of it.
It's so funny. One of my my very first guests, he said, all is Nicky Ballou, and I want to thank him for that. I was scared to death of actually starting the show, because my first reality was just don't bomb. Right. Just don't it's like, it's like a comedian the first time they're on stage. Hey man, I just want to hear somebody laugh to let you know like I got some momentum here. And he said, all business is solving problems for profit. That's all it really is. And I was like, because people try to overcomplicate stuff, right? Like, for every single person out there that can create, the diesel engine, right? Which, was created in Germany 200 years ago, right? There's also people that are like, hey man, there's a brand. I like it. It hasn't been introduced to this market. How do I get it to these people? Even if they don't know that they want it yet, or you hear enough people talking about, I wish this was here. And then there's that one person that's like, I'm going to find a way to bring it here, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to find a way to bring it here. And then next thing you know, it becomes, part of their everyday fabric. Like how many people didn't know that they wanted to stream movies or TVs in their house, and then now they can't live without it.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's slowly brought into the culture, and it's like every single time. And this is the same thing that's happening with AI right now, right? There's a lot of people that are coming in absolutely hating on AI. Oh my God, it's taking jobs. It's fake. Oh my God, like I'm always watching something that's AI made, right? There's the backside to it. But guess what? This is slowly going to be integrated into our lives if we want it or not. It's like when the digital photo camera came out. From, when they used to make photos in the red room and do that, right? Correct. It's an evolution.
Yep.
And it's like, we have to take some time and put some time in. And for those that are more passionate, right? For me, I'm all in. I'm all in because I'm like, everything I do, I'm looking at, all right, I already cut overhead. Yeah. My work is getting efficient. My teammates are more empowered and they have more confidence because AI is able to allow them to put their thoughts into something and it gives them something with clarity, right? So I don't have to be stepping in and leading my team as much as I had used to, right? I don't have to be approving as much things as I have to. Now they can work with AI. They can see what they're happy with and they can push it out. And so, not only that, it also is starting to do stuff for us. It's starting to create reports for my clients. It's starting to check in with my teammates and then give me feedback. So when I'm out and about, if I'm doing a podcast, if I'm working out, if I'm out on a run, my business is operating where I used to have to be behind a desk.
Correct. And well, the funny part about it is that people pick and choose about when they love the technology versus when they hate it, right? Spell check is AI. So you've had spell check on your computer for,
my favorite thing in the world
since the computers first started, right? And so, you love the convenience of being able to order food on your phone because then you don't have to talk and wait on a phone line for anybody. You get your groceries delivered to your house because you don't have to leave, right? You're willing to pay the $8.99, $10.99, even $20 if it means you don't have to get in your car and wait in line. So people get very picky when they decide what technology suits them best. So when we're talking about TruCreatives, can you give us a brief insight as to the specifics of the company? I looked it up. It's great that you're doing well. The onboarding process, and you also have a client portal as well too. It connects businesses, resources with passionate entrepreneurs.
Yeah, absolutely. So we basically have two sides to it. One is the big side that I'm building up is the community. My goal is to get to 100,000 true creatives, people that are truly passionate about what they do. and we help them turn their passion into profit. And the goal is 6 figures in profit. That's what I want to inspire people to do. I want to help people to get to 6 figures of profit, because I feel like at that point they have that level of abundance, you know? Yeah. So what we do there is, step one, if they don't know, we have a free quiz. We have a limitless challenge. It's like a 5-day free course people can sign up for. They do internal reflection. They ask the right questions. They find their side hustle, right? Then from that point on, they can join our community for free for a full month. And we do weekly call check-ins. Like I have mine every Wednesday at 6 p.m., right? At 6 p.m., I get on the call with our community members, right? We're still pretty small, so it's usually like 2 to 4 people on the call. And we get right to work, all right? So if they're in the beginning stages, I'm helping them figure out their brand names, their branding, what their first product is going to be. If they already have a product, we're looking at the next level of stuff. These guys are already running ads, right? So one of the guys that's probably going to show up today is a basketball trainer down in Texas, in Austin, Texas. They've been running ads. They've been getting 10 book calls every single week, and they've seen a slowdown. So they're going to come on the call today. Right. They want to start pushing a community, like a school community, and they want to find another way to start making income. So they're going to be joining the call. We're going to be talking about what are the next steps they can take, right? So those work sessions are very powerful, because I'm getting on the call with you guys and I'm making sure you're taking one step towards building your, right?
No, go ahead. I just love that. I just was going to compliment you, so I'm sorry.
Yeah. So basically from there, we have the accountability in our group. All right. What are your weekly goals? I'm checking in once or twice a day. At the end of the day, I'll typically try to respond to my community. But we have a group, about 30, 35 people in there right now. And we're basically just, hey, what's going on? What's the progress? Have you taken anything away from the call, right? And all we're doing, it's so simple, is we're taking one step every single week. And those that are ambitious are at engaging more. And they're taking multiple steps. And that's all we need to do. And then as soon as, so this side story, the trainer, right, had no money coming in. He's making like a few $100s, didn't have no system, and didn't know anything about systems. Matter of fact, he just knew how to be an absolute killer trainer, right? Got his wife on board. She understood more of the technical stuff. So I worked with her. We got everything integrated, and boom. I think they did almost like 16, 17K last month. Like, and I'm like, that's the transition. Phenomenal.
But that's my point. Like, so there's multiple steps that are involved, right? So, my number one goal, and this is, I'm going to turn this to me briefly because I have to own this conversation, was to just be a good host. Like, just be prepared, be polite, make sure that you have your notes and that you have a good guest experience. And then when you start getting a certain number of downloads, similar to like the coach would, hey, let me just make sure that I structure and I'm prepared. But then when you start getting enough people, you have to start shifting your mindset to maybe there's something there. And then you have to reach out to people who are smarter than you or have a better level of expertise in areas that you do not. Because the fact of the matter is, most people, unless you are the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world who can just conquer it all, the average person is going to have a significant weakness in something. They're going to say, I create really well, but I sell very poorly. Or I sell very well, but I'm not good at explaining the product itself, so I can't.
And the funny thing is, those that love to serve suck at selling. It's something that I had to get good at myself, because we are so attuned, and this is definitely from my nurturing and my culture. Like, I always love to serve people because I was always served. I've had people that are older than them that like taught me stuff, my coaches, my parents, my family, my friends, and I'm like, I can never pay you guys back.
Because, correct.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
And so that kind of mindset was something where
very hard.
When you get into that business world, bro, like they're takers out there that are gonna, oh my God, he's doing a free podcast. He's gonna give me a free shout out. Let me see if he can do it. Let me see if he can do it the following week, right? And so
it is funny, I hate not to cut you off. It's funny, I don't want to derail it, but then like you got people that are like, you should charge, and you're like, I'm just a nice guy, like, you get in that little awkward thing where you're like, and then all of a sudden you start down on your head, like, you know what, my time is actually valuable, and that's going to be the net, this is on the show being recorded. At some point, I'm going to have to be that dude, because it is what it is.
I think what you should do, and this is one of the most things I actually did, there's a certain amount of price I used to charge, right?
Right.
And I had a few clients where I'm like, bro, this is way more of a headache than like what I feel like what I'm being worth, right?
Yeah.
And I went and I was like, all right, I went on AI. You can use anything, Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever. I was like, hey, this is my service. I want you to do deep market research and see what the top brands are charging. All right. Those numbers are confidence builders.
Yes.
And you should go ahead and do the same for yours. And you should have those packages ready to go.
No lies.
Because you have the numbers.
No lies.
Have numbers. You know what I mean? The numbers are what people are going to look at. And you're going to see that some brand are going to sign up with you and it's going to work fabulous.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, oh my God, we need to slot you in for 3 more weeks or 4 months or whatever it is, right? But there's also going to be customers that pay you and then they don't get the value. But you can't be upset because guess what? You did what you promised.
Right.
And so sometimes it is up to the person that's signing up to, you know what I mean? We paid an influencer $2,500 and we got 0 sales.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? And what I did, I was like, hey, thank you so much. We appreciate you. I just want to let you know we didn't get anything out of the partnership we had. But is it okay if we license a piece of content and run it as an ad? Sure, absolutely. Go for it.
Right.
That made us our return.
So that's right. So you get creative, like, right. So it becomes a point where it's like, you know, I'm going to get something out of this, even if I didn't see something immediate from it, because not to your point, you better put your feelings in your pocket really quick. You know what I'm saying? You can't, and, you know, I had to, you know, like even you and I are talking this, you know, this, I get a chance to get entrepreneurs all the time. And I get a chance to talk to people like yourself and successful people. I'm fully aware that you guys typically charge for your time and I get to interview you all for free because I'm like, there's a value add. So like, what's the cool part about it is that you start to grow and then you start to get confidence in your platform is because people are in this weird space where there's no pensions, you know, the market out there is uncertain for people. Why wouldn't you take the risk to go utilize your service?
Yeah. So what was the question again?
Why wouldn't people come out? What would hold people back from utilizing your service?
I think that's the biggest thing. You know what I mean? I think what we have set up and it's people don't believe. We live in a world that, okay, people can look at me, they can look at my numbers and be like, who is this guy?
Right.
Why would I spend time talking to this guy? He may be having a website. He may have there's a lot of trust issues in the world, right? And
of course.
I had one of my friends look at I'm redesigning my website, right? And I was like, you know what? Let me put the numbers, right? Like, let me put how much everyone in this community is making, right? How many people we have in the community, what the result is, right? Like, what is their average return? Like 3x return. He looked at me, he's like, bro, this is true, but I don't believe you. And I'm like, why? I'm like, why? Like, this is literally like, we've done the research, we've gotten the numbers, and we're putting it on our website to show social proof.
I'll tell you why.
He's
like, I'll tell you why. Because people have only been conditioned to one way is to be successful.
Yeah, with luxury things and materialistic things. And so if I'm not looking that part, that he's like, I don't believe you. And I'm like, so that's where it's like a lot of people that, you know, get into my community and join, they're always shocked. They're shocked at the value that gets delivered because it's like I'm authentically there and present with people and I'm calling people out on their bullshit.
Yeah.
Because my one thing is if you're going to be in my community and you don't take action, get out.
Yeah, no,
get out.
100%.
Because you're going to poison the rest of the community.
100%.
That
100%.
And you know, right now is the time to take action. I promise you, Rashid, with AI coming out like this, with tools coming out like this, without you having to invest nothing into it, the world is fully awareness. It's not about, you know, how many, it's like, how much awareness can you get? It's not how many sales you can get. How much awareness can you get? Because awareness ends in sale. It ends in conversion. It ends in all this stuff.
And then what'll happen too is that when you do get enough exposure, you'll be linked up with people who can eventually tell you how to take that direction and link you up with the right people. So you don't necessarily have to inherently have that skill, but you have to have an open mind. And I want to emphasize what you said earlier. You talk about that mindset. I will tell anybody who will listen, it almost needs to be at the top of the list that you better surround yourself or yourself be in a proper mind state. Because the idea that you can do this with a sour, salty attitude or have people around with it is the absolute worst thing you can interject with something you're trying to be successful with.
Absolutely.
I mean, kick those people out. I don't have them on my show. I don't surround myself with them. It is rule number one. That a positive attitude or being towards a solution, you have to get those people away from you.
Yeah. So I think that's where like we have those things. Like I just created a quiz like not too long ago, like 2.5 months ago. Like now when you get to my website, I have people take a quiz. Mm-hmm. So now it's all about improving the qualifying process of it, right? And it's like, all right, if people are ready to take action. I literally have like 4 or 5 questions. Are you ready to take action? Are you going to hold yourself accountable? Are you going to show up to every weekly call, right?
Yep.
Just to drill it in their head what this is about. And so like literally, you know, we had someone take the quiz last week as well. Not last week, yesterday. And so now my team is going to touch base. We're going to get to like learn a little bit more about what this person is looking to do. And if we do like him, we're going to offer him a free trial and we're going to get him on weekly calls and we're going to start taking action. And so, yeah, I think that's the funny part. It's like, oh, why people may not join or why people may hesitate is because of that. But I think, yeah. And I think right now the content is where now we're dialing in, right? So over the next 3-4 months, you're going to see me dial in on content that connects people with like AI tools and stuff like that. Right. And we're going to start using the social media automations to get the conversation started in the DMs and then start driving people to the community.
Well, I think too, by having that qualification process too, you know, at the end of the day, you have to be all in, right? So like, you know, I have over 100,000 downloads on Spotify, you know, 100,000 views on YouTube. And the one thing that you have to figure out more than anything else is that there's going to be a lot of lonely nights by yourself when you're building something, the successful company you have. And in those quiet moments and in those times when you're tired, you have lack of sleep, and you really, I mean, do you want to do every episode? No. Did you want to stay up late at night? No. But you knew that was what you had to do. Like anybody who said that they were, oh yeah, I wanted to do every episode. I mean,
why did you feel like you had to do it? Why did you stay up? Why did you keep going?
Yes, the why is because I wanted it to be successful. So I was like, I was willing to put the work in to get it to where I wanted it to be. Nobody's going to get you off your couch and give you a break. Nobody's going to, you know, feel sympathy for you from your complaints. We all got problems.
I would say why again though, right? I think that's the high level answer.
My why is because I knew this show would be successful if I stayed with it.
Yeah.
That's why.
Why do you like having conversations with others?
Because the best thing about this is I would never meet somebody like yourself without this show. And there's always a next plateau to reach in life by hosting the next episode. And you don't know who's listening. You don't know what brand partnership is available. And you won't know until you keep doing it. By default, it's like getting in shape. If I walk long enough, eventually I'm going to lose weight. Right? It's like if you walked across the country, at some point I'm going to reach water on the other side, even if I don't know what's in between it. Right? But if I just stay in this path and I don't stop walking, I will reach water. It's the same thing with if you stick at it long enough.
What number episode is this?
173, 175, somewhere up there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how have you been consistent enough to have 170? Like what? Tell me about it, because this is something I want to dwell into myself. But how does someone stay consistent? Do you have a format? Do you have a structure? Do you have a team? Do you do it all by yourself?
No, I have people who do like, you know, the marketing for me to market the podcast itself. But as far as a host, producer, a showrunner, it's all me. You know, I think 2 things happen with that. Number one, you know, I don't want to say, you know, you have to be all in to do this. And number 2, if I haven't found that person or that partner that wants to do the show with me, I take this very seriously, right? So you have to, if somebody's available, I would love to have somebody, you know, of the equal who's willing, who's just as curious to have other people on the show. But for me, I haven't gotten to that point yet. I'm looking forward to that point. But more than anything else, man, I used to read all the time. I still do. I watch documentaries. I always love how things function, operate. You know, I will literally bore you to death, or I'll intrigue you to no end, right? That's the far ends of the spectrum of who I am, right? And that's okay. Yeah. I'm not for everybody. You're not for everybody, and that's cool with me. So, I really love talking to people like yourself, because there are things that are available out there that you weren't exposed to because you have to try. Yeah.
And so you want to be a voice in that space with these conversations. And, you know, I think some things I definitely see, you know, as good sponsorship opportunities is other entrepreneurs, right? Like those people you've talked to. Right. I think you should email your list, be like, hey guys, it was absolutely amazing having you guys on the show. I'm looking to open up sponsorship. This is what our numbers look like. Right. And, you know, hook them up with a first-time discount or whatever, first-time deal if you do 3 packages or whatever.
For sure.
And then let them know about your audience. Like, Who are your listeners? Who are your people? You know, and I think there may be some opportunities for you there just right off the bat to get some people locked in and getting your first dollars. I don't know if you are right now, but if you aren't, but like some dollars through the door.
Right.
Because guess what? Then you can reinvest.
Right.
You can reinvest.
Right.
My profit, I don't even take a lot of money. I don't, because I learned my lesson, which I was mentioning when I started my Denali Canning. Before Denali Canning, I got super lucky. Me and my partner, we were selling masks to China. So COVID didn't even hit America. We were making money off of China.
Yeah,
right?
just the conversion rate.
So when COVID, and then so when COVID hit America, like we were making $1,000 a day in our pockets within 4 days. Like imagine you being on a computer, not making any of that money. 4 days later, we were making $1,000, right?
Yeah.
We got we're just inexperienced.
Yes.
We took everything. We didn't reinvest into the brand.
Yeah.
We didn't care about email lists.
Right.
We didn't care about customer support.
Right.
We didn't care.
You're young and making money.
Yeah. So guess what we did? We went on trips. Yeah. We started doing this thing. Lasted 1 month.
Right.
1 month. And guess what? Everything fall down. We had zero foundation. Yeah. Next thing you know, the business is under.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things. It's like humble pie. So it's like God put me in that position. I didn't. The lesson was I got greedy. Yep. Right. If I had maybe saw it differently, it would have been a whole different scenario. And I would have maybe learned to be patient.
The difference is, Prince, is that if there's nobody, and that's where, unfortunately, the only lesson is going to be learning, because if, I have no idea what your background is. I'm not going to assume, but there's a high likelihood, I think, that there was nobody mentoring that was like, hey, this is how you should structure and do this respectively.
Yeah.
So you had to go through that to learn that lesson, right? So like, I'm building this podcast, right? And again, I want to talk more about TruCreatives, but coming to you, you have the experience to tell them you have to build a foundation before you start doing certain things.
The experience, we have the system, plug and play. You know what I mean? We have a formula that we use, especially with people coming in with passion. Right. We build lead magnets. Then we teach them to build a small, lower ticket product, between $7 to $50. Right. Then we start getting them to a higher ticket product, which can be anywhere from $500 to $2,500 plus. And it's just evolution of their service. Right. And every time they're devoting more time or making the experience more one-on-one, they should understand it is going to be more expensive.
Correct.
And it's going to be harder to find those people, but they're going to be the right people, and you're going to need less of them.
Well, there's a saying that, when you tier it out, you need, you can get $1,000 from, 10 people, or you can get 10,000 from one person. So depending on, like, if you need to get gastric bypass surgery and you're grossly overweight, you're going to pay to get that done, regardless of what the price tag may be. So based upon the service level that you're providing, the price is the price, right? So when people see the outcomes of the service that you provide with high six-figure income, then like, hey, this is what I'm going to charge for this, because that's the results that I deliver. Right, those high agents from the movie stars, you're making $30 million a film. They'll pay their agent that fee and keep it moving because you got me in the blockbuster film.
Absolutely, and it's especially at that level, they just have budgets, and it's like, all right, we're willing to invest in the best. So, and it comes down to your time and you individually what you value your time at, and it's like I said, and it really goes to the people. I'm speaking to the people that love to serve, man, and that's something even not last year, the year before, I was like, I want to do 500 hours of service. And guess what I did? I did something similar to what you're doing right now. I serve people. I help people start businesses. I didn't charge them a dime. I did not charge them a dime. I got on calls. I helped them with their websites. I helped them with everything I possibly could, because I'm like, hey, let's serve and let's see what the impact is. Let's see what the value is.
Correct.
Before being like, oh, let me just start charging people this and the third. No, let me serve. Yeah. I think when you do it through that, it just gives you the most power to trust yourself and gives you the most confidence to be like, yes. Like the only reason at that point I was not financially where I want to be is because of me.
And taking ownership of things is what you can guide people through. I know your time is extremely valuable. Where can people find Prince Singh and TruCreatives and all the great things that you do?
Yeah, absolutely. It's Pritinder, so Pritinder. All my socials, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch is just Pritinder. So I'm like starting to stream some of my processes, like my business stuff, as well as some hoops. I love to play basketball on the side. And what I do is I clip those and I throw like voiceovers and stuff like that. Just trying to get creative with the content game. But everyone, you guys can find me at It's Pritinder on social media. You guys can find me on my website. You can, book a call with our team. You can shoot me an email at psing@TruCreatives if you guys ever have any questions. But if you are passionate about building something you've been doing for years, but you still haven't found a way to monetize, like content creators is one of the people we work with as well.
Right.
They have the following, they have the awareness, but they're just like too focused on maybe doing product ads or sponsorships and stuff like that. Like, nah, you could probably teach people, or you can find other opportunities and we can help you depending on who you are individually. But yeah, anybody that's ready to lock in and really, level up their community and also, their financial side, we can definitely, have a conversation and see where we can add value.
I think that's one of the reasons. This is the reason you asked for my why earlier. This is the why.
Yeah.
That what you said was the why. Where's your passion? How you can find the people that can match that passion, and where you can listen to find the tools of success. And because of that, this is why I do this show. And in the short amount of time that we got to talk, we vibed really well. It's been an absolute honor and a pleasure, and I want all the listeners to get a chance with Prince Singh, TruCreatives, and this is the episode of the T.R.O.N podcast, and more to come. I want to thank you for your time, sir. I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
Can't wait for this to air.
Yes, sir. Let's get it.
Hey,